Continuing yesterday, we learned that James Harden and Sixers president Daryl Morey will no longer coexist. Harden saying he will never be a part of an organization that Morey is a part of. Therefore, seeing Harden and Joel Embiid together this upcoming season seems highly unlikely. And at this point, guys, basically impossible. Then last night, the MVP, that would be Joel Embiid, removed his Philadelphia location from his social media profile, raising, of course, even more eyebrows. Does this mean he wants out of Philadelphia? Is he just angry? Amber, what did you make of this?
Well, this is what you do, right? You start throwing down the breadcrumbs. You start trying to put the pressure on your organization and also the breadcrumbs in case you want to get out of that 4-year, over $200 million extension that's about to kick in for the reigning MVP. Now, we do know him as Troel Embiid, right? He does love to troll, and is that what he's doing here? He, of course, the face of the process, so much so that he trademarked one of the terminologies associated with the process. But on his profile, he has had the word processing and he has had the location as, of course, Philadelphia. He removed both of those things from his profile. This is what these guys do these days. This is how you send that sub-tweet, so to speak.
But is he sending a message?
Is he sending? It's a message. It's a message that I am not happy. I am not happy with the drama. And could I see a day where Joel Embiid's trying to force his way out of Philadelphia? Absolutely. He's the reigning MVP, and you can't get bounced in the second round every single season and feel like you have enough there if they can't figure it out in Philly. And boy, have they had time, because he has been a good soldier for 9 seasons there in Philadelphia.
I'm
sick of the process, man. The process.
We've been processing for a decade.
I'm done.
What
We are done.
process?
The process.
What process?
There's no more processing.
The process has failed on multiple occasions.
And let's be fair.
Over.
If you are a reigning MVP and you have done what Joel Embiid has done for this franchise, you're allowed to be mad and send messages.
They're lucky
like
he just scrubbed his Twitter
right.
bio.
You're lucky.
Honestly,
that's all he did.
That's all.
So far, this is how it
let me
starts,
say
right?
this,
He had
though.
trademarked trust the process. It doesn't feel like Joel Embiid's trusting
But
the
I also
process.
think it's important for Joel Embiid moving forward to go into the playoffs 100% healthy as well, because that's something that has hurt the Philadelphia 76ers the last 2 years. I understand James Harden hasn't been able to live up to his capabilities when they needed him game 5 and 6 versus in Miami in 2021, game 6 and 7 last year versus the Boston Celtics. But Joel Embiid not being 100% healthy
Didn't help it either.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't help the process as well.
And think about Nick Nurse takes over for this team when, according to all reports, he had options in terms of where he wanted to go coach, thinking he's going to have Harden and Embiid happy, healthy in Philadelphia. You might not have either. You don't know what you're going to have this upcoming season. Speaking of the NBA, it is scheduled release week here in the association this afternoon on NBA Today. Malika Andrews and crew will reveal the league's brand new in-season tournament schedule.
Fantasy football. All right, I got to show you this. We got a ridiculous developing story in the NBA. By now, you're probably aware, James Harden yesterday just ripped apart Sixers president Daryl Morey after Woj reported the team ended trade talks for Harden and planned to bring him back next season. In case you missed it, here was what Harden had to say yesterday while on tour in China.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again.
All right, so that's awful. And now I show you this. This is Joel Embiid's Twitter X bio. And if you take a look at it, this is today's, up until yesterday, this thing said Philadelphia as his location. He had the word processing on his bio. Both of those have been removed. So a day after James Harden lights up Daryl Morey from the other side of planet Earth, Joel Embiid has just scrubbed the Sixers from his social media. Harry, how should I interpret this?
Well, it's the way that, this generation communicates. And when they want to show or display frustration, they scrub certain things off their social media. I don't think this is something that could be ignored. When you look at the Philadelphia 76ers and what they haven't been able to do within the process in the NBA, since losing to Kawhi Leonard when he hit that basket and Joel Embiid was distraught about that, they haven't been able to get over that hump. This is a team that hasn't even been to an Eastern Conference Final since 2001 when Allen Iverson was there. But as far as James Harden, that's a guy that Joel Embiid wanted to be back with him. And James Harden is looking at this like, I opted into this situation with the mindset that I would be traded. But They said they will seek a trade.
Yeah.
Not that it was going to automatically go through, Greeny. So that's the part I think I don't understand that James Harden doesn't really realize, is that they said they were going to seek a trade. They were trying to get it done. The LA Clippers didn't want to give up everything that the Philadelphia 76ers wanted to give up.
Right.
So
it's a disaster. Let's just say it for what it is. It's a disaster. Kmart, you got Harden, you got him. He gets Doc fired. Now he's got this. Now he wants out. Now Joel Embiid wants out. It is an implosion of an NBA franchise.
I'm just trying to process what would make James Harden happy.
Process is the right word.
Like, I'm just really trying to understand.
None of us
and
know
I
right now.
don't know, because this is what, the third team now? Yeah. Where he's tried to get away from. And if the Twitter scrubbing of it's the 2023 version of you're in the house with your wife and you're just slamming cupboards. You're just like, it's the most passive aggressive thing, but you know I'm mad. I don't have to say a word. It's a problem when Joel Embiid, I don't know how long this process is going to take for them to be a champion. But I don't know if either of these two guys are going to be on the team when they actually win a championship. It just seems like always a mess there.
I'm not sure either of them is going to be on the team in October. We'll see what winds up happening. One way or another, it is a complete mess there. And don't miss the schedule release week in the NBA. This afternoon on NBA Today, Malika and the crew will have the league's brand new in-season tournament schedule. You can watch it today, 3 Eastern, right here on ESPN. All right, coming up, did the Jets just cook up the recipe to win the AFC? Is Aaron unstoppable on offense?
Last year, that his talent is just too much for the Jets to keep off the field, and he ends up being a guy that we rank inside our top 10 every single week, despite the presence of Dalvin Cook, and you could be getting him on sale as right around RB 19 or 20.
Okay, I will be taking them both. Then my question is, I'm going to take, if I had the first pick in my fantasy draft, I would take Garrett Wilson. Who should everyone else take with the number 1 overall pick?
What a gem you are. Garrett Wilson, a totally reasonable pick for diehard Jets fans like yourself, Greeny. I would instead take Justin Jefferson, who, how about this, last year basically led the NFL in like every important receiving category, not just catches and also yards. He also led the NFL in terms of route runs and snaps played. He had the most highlight reel plays, it felt like, amongst all wide receivers, the most dominant player at the wide receiver position through 3 years in NFL history, Greeny. Actually got unlucky last year in terms of touchdown production. Had just 8 receiving touchdowns. That number could have been more significant. There are a few things you can count on in life, but you can count on Justin Jefferson, who should be in for yet another monster season for a Minnesota offense that, A, loves to throw the football, and they might be better on defense, but they're certainly not good enough that they're going to be able to avoid playing a bunch of shootouts this season.
And then and I'm asking this seriously because this is not, is Aaron Rodgers QB1? Where does he rank amongst quarterbacks?
All right, you're allowed to put the earmuffs on here for a second, Greeny. I've got him as quarterback 14, and I think Aaron Rodgers is in for a bounce-back season this year. I know. Am I allowed back on Get Up after this segment? We'll find out. Stay tuned, people. I've got him as quarterback 14, though, and here are the reasons why. Aaron Rodgers, I think, will be a much better player. He's got a renewed energy and zest for the game that I think will pay off on the field, but there are a couple of factors that are pushing him down my ranks. One, he is not nearly the running threat that some of the players well ahead of him in our rankings are. You've got guys like Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields and even Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence that are very good athletes that will add something with their legs. Moreover, the Jets do have good weapons, but it's not the same level of weapons that pocket passers like Joe Burrow are playing with, maybe even Tua Tagovailoa. So Aaron Rodgers at quarterback 14, a serviceable starter coming out of your draft, but doesn't have the upside that I think the guys well ahead of him sure do.
Bring that camera with me over here. I need to cleanse the conversation of that moment just having taken place. I'm sorry, Aaron, that he said that. I apologize on behalf of Yates and the entire Yates family. All right, Field, thank you. Despite that, you're doing an outstanding job. We'll see you in our second hour this morning, Field, and the Fantasy Football Marathon continues. Remember, ESPN Fantasy Football is the #1 fantasy game, and with the season right around the corner, get your league started now at ESPN.com/fantasyfootball. All right, I got to show you this. We got a ridiculous developing story in the NBA. By now, you're probably aware, James Harden yesterday just ripped apart Sixers president Daryl Morey after Woj reported the team ended trade talks for Harden and planned to bring him back next season. In case you missed it, here was what Harden had to say yesterday while on tour in China.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again.
All right, so that's awful. And now I show you this. This is Joel Embiid's Twitter X bio. And if you take a look at it, this is today's, up until